Hey guys, it's Cheapies01 here. Today I wanted to go over my top 10 fall cheapies. Fall is just ending. Tomorrow is actually the end of fall, start of winter. However, I just wanted to go over my top 10 favorite cheapies that I've been wearing over this autumn. So let's get into the number one. They're not really in any particular order. I like them equally. They're all cheapies. They're good. For the number one, we have Craze Armaf. It comes in a very interesting box. It comes essentially in a slide-out package, so if you don't open it carefully, it can fall out. Ultimately, with this one, let's see if it'll focus here. Ultimately, with this one, you get almond, you get vanilla, you get heliotrope, and then past that, I can't really distinguish very much. It's supposed to be a bitter almond. I don't really get that. Ultimately, this is a clone of Parfums de Marly's Pegasus. I haven't put my nose on that one, but so far this one's been pretty good. Longevity's around the 8-9 hour mark. Projections probably 3 to 4 feet. It's pretty good. I need to wear more of this as I've been putting other stuff in my rotation, but this is one of the top 10 in my list. I also forgot to mention this is around 21 to 25 bucks. You can find it on FragranceNet. You can find it on Fragrance Buy. Probably Fragrance X. It's pretty much everywhere. You can even find this on eBay. It's pretty much cheap there too. Find this anywhere, pretty cheap. Zara 9.0 is my next favorite cheapie for the fall. Ultimately, the notes on this one, it says it's bergamot, juniper, coriander, pepper, cardamom, orris, vetiver, amber, and cedarwood. I get the orris, a lot of it. The amber, I guess. Not very many of the other notes. Ultimately, this is a clone of Dior Homme, the EDT, and Valentino Uomo. It's in between both of those two. It also costs $22.90 off of Zara's website. You can get it in a double pack with Zara 8.0. You can get both of them. The 8.0 to me is a lackluster kind of Lily of the Valley type of scent, but nothing too interesting. But this one is a great alternative to Dior Homme and Valentino Uomo. I highly recommend this one, even for the $22.90 plus tax or whatever. I think it's a really good buy. Longevity is around I'd say the 6-7 hour mark. It doesn't push as hard as Dior Homme or the Valentino Uomo, but still is a really good alternative for nearly like a third of the cost. So yeah, Zara 9.0. Here I have Genre Parfums Kir. This is supposed to be a interpretation of essentially Roja Dove's Amber Extrait. It has a note of cocoa, orange, kind of a mandarin orange, and quite a long list of other notes. To me, it's not a powdery cocoa. You can smell this almost jellified rind of a orange that has been mixed with a very transparent and translucent type of chocolate or cocoa in the background with this amber. It's extremely beautiful. I think Genre is a good house that's on the come up. I really like it. Performance is around, I would say, 7 to 9 hours. The projection on this is a bit smaller, or I get a nosmic to it. Projection is probably around 2 to 3 feet, but this is an absolute gem. It smells amazing. 1 ounce for 25 bucks. If you purchase a bunch together for above 50 bucks, shipping is free. But I think this is an amazing one. A copy of Roja Dove's Amber Extrait. Absolutely beautiful. Genre Parfums Kir. So this is Noble Soul, again, by Genre Parfums. This is actually also amazing. So this is essentially a interpretation of Black Anthem by Killian. That one's an amazing scent. Maybe I'll own it one day, I don't know. It's 150 bucks, kind of on the black market or gray market. But I think this is a great one. Again, 1 ounce, 25 bucks. Smells amazing. To me, I get the chocolate, I get the rum, the caramel. The coffee's a little bit back there. It's sitting in the back, but that chocolate and the caramel, absolutely, it's just it envelops you. I think this one is better than a few of the other interpretations, such as, I guess, Fade to Black by Alexandria. That one's a bit more caramelly. This one, I think, is a little bit more complex. That coffee note, I guess, has some backbone. It's not necessarily a pure coffee, but it's something that those sweet notes are playing against, so it adds a little bit more character. Projection on this one's a good 3 feet, maybe even 4 feet. Longevity, also around 8 to 9 hours. Projection will dwindle down a bit afterwards. It comes in these nice genre parfum pouches. They're good for traveling. I've used a few of the other ones to travel around. I think they're great. Again, 1 ounce, 25 bucks. You can't go wrong. So yeah, that's number 4, essentially, by Genre Parfums, Noble Soul. Insurrection 2 Wild. So this is Insurrection 2 Wild by Reyane Tradition. They have a few other fragrances in the Insurrection 2 line. They have Insurrection 2 Pure and a Ventus clone. That's kind of what got me into fragrances, so I have a soft spot for that one. This one is supposed to be an interpretation of Pure Havane. It's supposed to smell like tobacco, honey, vanilla, a bit of patchouli, and a bit of cocoa. To me, this is a little bit more synthetic than Pure Havane. I really like Pure Havane. That one's a little bit smoother, a little bit, the honey's a little bit better. Here the tobacco is pretty much in your face. It's a little bit more waxy than the Pure Havane, but I still think probably after maybe the 1 hour mark, that waxiness is reined in a little bit more, and is a really good competitor to Pure Havane. This ultimately costs between the, again, $22 to maybe $28 range. This is just bang on. It's half the price of Pure Havane, 90 mils. I think this is really good. Longevity is as good as Pure Havane, so around the 8 to 9 hour mark. Projection, great for the first essentially 3 hours, and it dwindles down. Also around the 2 to 3 feet. And yeah, that's great on this one. So Insurrection 2 Wild. So this is Zara Gourmand Leather. This is actually a good favorite of mine. This is supposed to be a really good, is actually a really good copy of Jean-Paul Gaultier's Ultramalt. That one is vanilla, pear, and just a bunch of other sweet notes. It's fruity, it's sweet. This is essentially a club fragrance. I really like this. The projection's amazing. It's probably around 3 to 4 feet, more like 3 to 5 feet. People at the central is insane. Longevity is also amazing. Honestly, I put this in my diffuser and it lasts essentially like a day and a half. I think this is an amazing fragrance for the price. They've changed the bottle on us now. It's now in a more, a similar bottle, similar to the Zara 9.0, except it's clear as opposed to matte. But ultimately, this is I think a great fragrance, especially for the price. It compares very well to Ultramalt, and I think it's a great replacement. To me, I bought this before I bought Ultramalt, and now I feel it's kind of redundant because this is also as good as that one. But yeah, no, Zara Gourmand Leather, amazing. Again, this is around, I think I bought this one for $35.70, but it's probably gone down to $22.90 as it's been released for the market for quite a while. But yeah, it's a great release. I think it's a great cheapie. Pick this up if you're looking for an alternative to Jean-Paul Gaultier's Ultramalt. So this is Kindred Goods by essentially Old Navy. It's called Whipped Caramel and Hazelnut. So this one, there's a big hubbub about it essentially maybe 6 months ago, essentially last fall or last winter. But this one is an amazing, essentially like if you remove all the backbone of the burning woods from By the Fireplace by Martin Margiela, this is pretty much that, except a little bit sweeter. It's whipped caramel and hazelnut. You get a little bit of nuttiness, that's kind of what the sweetness lays back on, but essentially the caramel is absolutely amazing. You almost get like this creamy, caramely goodness. It's great. I picked this up for $6. I hope they still have this. I don't know if they still do. I had a friend go pick one up. I'm not sure if he got one. But for 50 ml for $6, I thought this was a great deal. It lasts around, say around 6 hours or so. That's when it tapers off. Projection is around 3 feet. Again, pretty good. And it lasts for maybe 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours, which is pretty good for such a small and cheap scent. I really like this one. Hopefully that it's sold out of this. Again, Kindred Goods with caramel and hazelnut. So this is Azzaro's Visit. Azzaro's Visit is a cedar type of fragrance. It's essentially, I think, red pepper or pink pepper, cedar, maybe some elemi. Essentially past the pink pepper and the cedar. The cedar is, there's probably a little bit of vetiver in here as well. But past essentially the cedar, vetiver, and pink pepper, I don't get very much. Essentially, it's sitting on this transparent sweet note. It may be coumarin or something like that, I'm not certain. But it's this slightly woody nuance. that is sweet. This is unlike most of Azzaro's normal fragrances. Normally they have, essentially they have the Chrome line. I really like Chrome Aqua. That one's really good for the summer. But this is, I think, a formidable cheapie. Smells good on YouTube. They actually introduced me to this one. He has a small little, I think 15 ml decant, or not decant, but the little travel atomizers. That put me onto this. He also put me onto another fragrance. But I think Azzaro Visit's a good one. Longevity on me, it's around the 6-7 hour mark. It's okay. Projections around 2 to 3 feet. It's okay. Maybe less, maybe 1.5 to 2 hours as projection. But yeah, I think this is a decent, for $20.78, which I picked it up for that on FragranceNet. It'll probably be between 20 to like $25. It's pretty cheap. This is not talked about a lot. I think it's a formidable fragrance. It's not an amazing fragrance, but it's a good cheapie. So yeah, it's Azzaro, it's Visit. So this is Cerutti 1881 Bella Notte. Again, You Smells Good put me onto this one. He had been going over some cheapies, and so I was like, okay, let me get my nose on that. The Etherealist, he also put one out. He said that he bought this one because of his recommendation. I think this is a good one. It's supposed to be, essentially, it starts off with lemon, maybe some citron, that's what it says online. I get a little bit of lemon. It's kind of like, it starts off with a bad interpretation of a Earl Grey tea, but somewhat of an interpretation of that. It's essentially black pepper, there's some black pepper, but it's not piercing or sharp. It's really just a spicy note, and some cardamom. The cardamom is probably the more well-rounded spice in this fragrance. But it starts off with that lemon vanilla type of intro, then add some spices. I think it's a formidable cheapie for around 18 to 22 bucks for 4.2 ounces. It's a under the radar cheapie. It's a good one. Don't expect anything too complex or wild. It's a pretty much for 22 bucks. What are you asking for? It's a good formidable scent. Spices aren't realistic. The citrus isn't hyper realistic, but it's a good, sweet, pleasing smell that I think people will like. Again, it's like someone essentially took Earl Grey and then made it into a pastry, but you don't get the sharpness of the bergamot. Replace it with lemon and then add more vanilla and reduce, I guess, the crispness of the spices. Ultimately, this is, I think, a good one for the price. But yeah, this is Cerutti 1881 Bella Notte. I forgot to mention, longevity on this is probably 5 to 6 hours. Projection maybe 2-3 feet. But yeah, it's formidable. I think it's pretty good. So the final one on the list, this is Banana Republic Cypress Cedar. They should actually call it Cypress Patchouli. You get a lot of cypress, a little bit of cedar, and then on a base of patchouli. Ultimately, I got the 15 ml of this one. After really pulling this one apart, I found that it had a lot of patchouli. Patchouli isn't my favorite scent, but the cypress note on this one and the intro, when I smelled this when it first released, probably 2 years ago, I was like, wow, this is really good. I really like the cypress. Cypress was a note that I was really getting into because it's dry, green. And the top is pretty dry and green, but the patchouli really sweetens the whole thing up. It probably has the same type of sweetness that Cerutti 1881 Bella Notte has, but this one's a little bit more realistic. I think this is probably higher quality than that one. It comes in, I think, in the 100 ml bottles now. They switched it over from the 75 ml to 100 ml. I don't know if they do these, what they do the small sizes. This is still 15 ml. But I got this one for 13 bucks on FragranceNet, and I was just trying to get the free shipping. Not too mad. But I really like this one. I wore this one a little bit, but I think there's a good part of the rotation, just smelling it here and there, having that cypress note in my rotation. Ultimately, projection is around 2.5 feet, maybe 3 feet. Longevity is around, I don't know, 5-6 hours. I'm not asking for too much for such a small price. But yeah, no, I think this one's good. Yeah, you should try and check this out. Banana Republic Cypress Cedar. So that about wraps it up for my fall 2019 list of cheapies. I'll have another list for my designers and another list for niche. I may mix those together. We'll see. But yeah, I hope you guys like this. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys have been rocking this fall. But yeah, no, glad to finally make this video for you guys. Alright, I'll see you in the next one.